In
Alright,
progress.
folks, welcome to our mobility and flexibility class. But as we have asked, and just from everyone, we've also incorporated a little bit of balance work, which doesn't hurt anyone. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and begin from our chair to standing balance exercises to standing stretches, maybe some floor stretches towards the end. But let's go ahead and begin our session. No major announcements besides fall classes being open. You are able to enroll into those. Like I mentioned many times, I do have 4 classes. If you wish to enroll, let me know. I've sent out the information. But other than that, if you're in my Wednesday class, we will continue at 11:30. And yeah, in case you are enrolled in other classes at Irvine Valley, this is a holiday weekend, so if you have any classes on Friday or Saturday, double check with your instructor because I'm pretty sure most schools will be closed on those days. Okay, so just in case you have some classes, keep that in mind. All right, let's go ahead and begin by looking left to right. Okay, so we're just gonna do our major stretches. We'll probably skip the stretches that I don't want to say don't matter because all of these stretches do, but they're just some stretches that we get a little bit more out of than others. So just make sure, just turning all the way to the side. Now we're going to go up and down. So just tilt your head downward, up. We're going to turn to the left now and add a little bit of pressure on the side of your face. So look left and add some pressure to your chin, your jawline. As we rotate left, press. Let's turn right and do the same. So turn right. A little bit of pressure there. Alright, let's go ahead and reach behind and drop both elbows down as we're holding the top back part of your head. Let's go ahead and now sit on our left hand. So just keep that shoulder fixed by sitting on it. Bring that right arm across and drop that right elbow. Try to pull a little bit so you get that stretch. You shouldn't feel any pain. Very good. Let's switch. So sit on that right hand and do the same. Right hand, left hand comes over. Relax. And go ahead and start working on our shoulders a little bit. We'll go back and forth between shoulders and back and neck. So let's just do snow angels here. Hello, welcome. Again, appreciate everyone coming on time. I think we have our regulars here. Just stretch as much as you can. Reach. Excuse me. Just reach. Okay, let's go ahead and we're gonna bring our elbows. So for this one, I like to sit a little bit in front of my chair, so there's some room, a space between my back and the backrest. So just bringing my elbows behind, and then relax. So that just helps stretch out my upper mid back. So I'm doing this and relax. Very good. Great. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do some front arm raises. So right here, raise. Come up this way. Alright, now we're gonna have our palms facing in front of us. Okay, so now instead of having them here, we rotate our palms. Now our palms should be going up towards the ceiling as we're raising our hands. Just stretching out our chest a little bit more. Very good. Alrighty, let's go ahead and incorporate a little bit more of our back. Okay, so we're gonna kind of make our hands here, put them together right in front of us. We're gonna face down and then punch forward and come back. So I want you to bring your head down, and as you're moving your hands forward, also try to bring your neck down a little bit more. And then reset. One more. Very good. All right, we're gonna go ahead from here and do some shoulder circles. Okay, so shoulders are nice and fixed, your torso's nice and fixed. I don't want you folks here. I want you upright, shoulders up, forward, down, and back. Now let's go in reverse. So up, back, down, forward. Very good. All right, let's go ahead and get on our feet. Okay, we're gonna do our Romberg stance. So a little bit of balance work just to separate this chair, standing. Hello, May. Mindy, welcome. All right, so feet are here right next to each other, and we're just standing still, not doing any movements right now. Just be mindful if your feet are aching already. Maybe that's something we need to work on. If your ankles are shaking. Okay, hopefully everything feels okay from this position. Okay, unless you had a very long day of walking yesterday, this should feel comfortable. All right, let's look left to right. Now up and down. Also getting a nice stretch out of this. All right, and this is the one position that I do ask you to be mindful. Open your eyes if you don't feel safe, but I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. So if you don't feel comfortable with that, just keep them open. But if you're closing your eyes and you feel unsafe, just separate your feet and open your eyes, and you should be okay with your base, okay? So, all right, if you're up to it, let's go ahead and close your eyes. You might feel a little bit of swaying. Totally fine. You might be gripping the floor with your toes. That's okay. And open them. All right, from here, we're gonna do a slow high knee march, okay? So I'm gonna keep my hands to my side and then just drive my knee slowly up. My left ankle is already shaking a little bit as I'm doing that. So the slower you do it, the longer you're gonna be on that one single foot. So really working on that balance. And if you speed it up a little bit, then you're eliminating a little of that balance component. So careful, we don't want to go too fast. Remember, you could always hover your hand over your chair. Okay, hover that hand over a chair if you need to. Okay, and then from here, again, if you want to hover, you could go ahead and do that. What I'm going to ask you to do is kind of elevate that back foot or your right foot back. And then let's go ahead and do a slow high knee drive and then take it back, okay? And it's okay if you put your toes on the floor. You just come up. This is just adding another variable to our stance here. And relax. Okay, we're gonna switch. So the left side now. Up. Very good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and sit back at our chair, okay? So sit back. If you wanna grab a little bit of water, now's a good time. So if you wanna grab some water. All right, yep. Don't forget to drink your water. All right, so this next one is gonna be cat claw. Okay, so like sitting towards the front of my chair, so I have some space. I also like separating my feet away from each other, so I have space to fall in with my torso. And then so I'm gonna reach up towards the ceiling. Keep that back straight, keep it straight, and then once you're here, kind of tuck it in and pull back. All right, we're gonna do 8 of those. So that was number 1. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and one more, and 8. Awesome. Very good. All right. So we're back here. Okay. So working on the shoulders, elbows at your side, flare your arms up, and then back down. Is anyone doing anything fun or exciting, going out of town for 4th of July? Maybe hosting a party? Let's do 3 more. Elbows to the side. And last one. Very good. Just relax. I'm gonna check the chat. Dinner, dance, and show. Nice. Okay. That sounds fun. Alright, so we did our arms here. Okay. Let's go ahead and just do an elbow or a forearm drop. So we're gonna bring that arm up and drop here. So dinner, dance, and show. Ooh. Is that an entire evening, Prague, or is that separate nights? I can just drop that forward. Our neighborhood, we do like a block party, kind of like a block party. Just both ends of our street, they get closed, so no cars come by, and everyone parks their cars outside. Let's switch in different neighborhoods or different streets of our neighborhood. So our entire street is just empty, and then everyone just kind of, you know, sets up on their driveways, or people are playing games on the streets. But yeah, pretty fun. I've never experienced that, but many of our blocks do that around here, which makes it hard for finding parking in other streets. And one more. Very good. All right. Let's go ahead and have our hands here to our side and just tap your opposite shoulder. Just go ahead and continue that pattern. Just checking the chat. Nice. That sounds fun, Prague. Hope you have a nice time. Yeah, this is my favorite I guess now holiday of the year, because of how fun it is for our family and my children, and just the whole neighborhood comes together. It's pretty cool. So a lot of my family relatives come over to join as well. Okay, very good. Now we're gonna go ahead and from here just bring elbows at your side still, so we're just moving the forearms. Okay, so palms come up and then down. So this is gonna be stretching out the tricep muscle. Okay, very good. We're gonna go ahead and do a slight trunk rotation from here. Okay, so with this, you're gonna, with your left hand, grab the base or the seat of the chair. With your right hand, grab the backrest, and just legs are pointing forward. Give yourself a slight little turn. So your torso's turning. Try to grab and turn a little bit more. Should be able to relax and do a little bit more. let's turn left and work on that side. So grab a hold of the base of the chair, with the seat, and grab the backrest with your other hand. And knees are still facing forward. And relax. Okay. Alright, next we're gonna sit towards the front of the chair, and I want you to bring your right knee out to the side. Your torso still upright, your left knee is facing forward, but your right leg is out here. Naturally, your knee's gonna want to collapse, but if you keep your hand there, you could prevent that. It's gonna give you a nicer stretch in that hip area. And I think after this week, I think this is the week where we're halfway through the term. So, because on Wednesday, I believe we're already in July. So after that, we go into early August. Alright, let's switch. Has anyone, and this is, like I mentioned, I think you folks know, it's my first term teaching at Irvine Valley. Has anyone in here been a student for these classes for more than a year? For these online classes? Okay, I see one hand up. More than 2 years? Okay, 3? 3 years? Okay, so just about 2 years. Anyone more than 3? And let's relax. Let's go ahead and get on our feet again. Okay, we're gonna work on that balance. Yeah. Good to know. All right, so again, have that chair nearby. Okay, and then let's bring our right foot in front of our left. Is this anyone's first term, like it is for me? So remember, right foot in front of your left. Yeah, you'll feel your arches start to ache a little differently than the other position, or maybe one foot's working a little harder. Now let's go left to right. So look left, right. Whoa, there you go. Now up and down. Definitely, this is more challenging than the first stance. Alright, we're going to close our eyes here. Close your eyes. Always hover your hand over that chair if you're not safe. Open your eyes. Alright, and then all I'm going to ask you to do for this one is reset. So bring your hind foot next to it. And I'm going to ask you to do semicircles. Okay, so just bring that leg in front of you and then just kind of go around in a counterclockwise motion. Alright, and bring that leg next to you again. Alright, now we're going to do that with the right leg. Okay, so now counterclockwise on that semicircle. So in front of you and back. and relax. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and just do heel to toe rocks, okay? So we're on our heels and then rocking to our forefoot or our toes and then just rock back. Okay. So just working on our calves and our lower legs, anterior tibialis muscle. Very good. Alright, let's go ahead and we'll go back to the chair and finish off with our chair stretches here. Grab some water if you like. First term for you, May. Awesome, I don't feel so alone. Alrighty. Oof. Alright, so let's go ahead and work on our wrists, okay? So I know this is one that I've been asked to do. So let's pass our wrist past our knee. Make sure that wrist collapses past your knee. Add a little bit of pressure, resistance downwards, and try to push that hand up against it, okay? So, right, allow that wrist to work for about 5 seconds and then relax it and repeat. 2. Okay, that's 3. 4. 5. Alright, let's do the other wrist. So allow that wrist to go past your knee. Push down and come up. 2. So keep on adding pressure. 3. And last one. Alright, we're going to focus on that right hand. So bring your fingers to the center of the hand without flexing the knuckles. Alright, now let's do the same but with bending the knuckles, okay? So each finger individually to the center of the hand and each knuckle. Give me 1 second, just continue. Alright, now let's make a fist and open. So fist, open. Alright, let's do the other hand. So each finger individually without bending the knuckles. Just keep them as straight as you can. Alright, let's go ahead and bend each knuckle now. let's go ahead and make a fist. Open them. Fist. Open. Alright, and then now let's try to web out our fingers away from each other, okay? So now you have them next to each other, but web them out, working on the little tendons between each finger. Awesome. All right, we did our we haven't done our piriformis. So let's go ahead and do our piriformis stretch. So left ankle on that right knee. So bring that ankle up here. Gently push down on that knee, just a little bit of pressure, just gives that area a little bit more of a stretch. Hello. Let's see. Hi, Jing.
Good morning.
Good morning. We started at 11. Not sure if you saw that memo, but yeah, that's why we're here already. Let's bring that knee up. So we'll be going for about another 20 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I missed the note.
Okay.
Namaste.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I made an announcement last week and I sent an email, but yeah, I'm sure some folks may have gone to their junk, but yeah, you're okay. About 20 more minutes here. You can always go to the recording if you want later on. And then let's go right ankle on that left knee. So I know not everyone's on my Wednesday class, but I'm just asking now if anyone here would love for me to add another like session, like workout video for you on Canvas. I could always do that in case you feel like this might not be enough for the week and you want to do something on the weekend. I could always add another video on Canvas if anyone wants like a extra credit assignment. We could always do that too. So let me know in the chat if that's something that you're interested, because it's not any extra work for me. I could just throw it on there if there's interest in that. So add a little bit of pressure down on that knee. Let's bring that knee up. And it's pretty nice and cooler this week than it was last week, so take advantage of getting a walk in or going outside, doing some garden work, whatever it is, any activities outdoor. It's nice weather right now. Great. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and move on. So we can go ahead and work on our hamstrings a little bit. So just recline back, bring your knee to your chest, and just work on that lower leg. So give me about 10 pumps on each leg, keeping that leg close to you. Alright, so complete 10 on that side. Once you're done, go to the other leg, you complete that. Alright. Finishing up on that other leg. Do a few pumps here. Alright, and we're gonna go ahead and now work on our chair squats. We'll go back to the other side of the tandem stance, but since we're here, we'll take advantage. So remember, this one, we have 3 sets of 8, okay? So first set, it's both legs together without using your backrest or swinging. We're just gonna stand up, no hands, okay? Just sit back down and repeat. And we'll be fine right here. So we're doing 8 of these. I lost count already, but I'm gonna do 3 more. And last one. Alright, so rest. Okay, so the next one, remember, this one you could, if this was enough and this was challenging, then just do 2 more rounds of that. But if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you could either take a step forward with your right foot, you could extend it a little bit more, you could just extend it all the way where your heel's touching, and then if you're really confident, then you could try to like lift that foot off the ground. But I would try to do maybe a full somewhere in here in this vicinity. Okay, so if we're ready, we're gonna do 8 with our right leg slightly forward or fully extended, and begin. That's putting most of your weight on that left leg. Alright, so get those 8 in. Alright, now left leg is extended slightly or fully. And if we're ready, go ahead. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Very good. All right. We only have a few more exercises or stretches on the chair, then we're gonna end up on our feet, okay? So let's go ahead from here. Just gonna go ahead and elevate my leg. So my leg, I'm supporting my leg with my hands here. My right foot is elevated, and I'm gonna swing my foot out and back. Swing it out, back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Right, next I'm going to switch. Left leg is elevated and then swing left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Alright, we're here, and next I'm gonna ask to raise our heels. Okay, so our feet are flat, so we're gonna bring our heels up and down, stretching out our calf muscles, working there. continue. Give me another 5 of those. Just going to check the chat. Okay. No worries, Michelle. Sounds good. Okay, now let's go with toe raises. So now we're flat and toes up, down. Alright, now we're gonna elevate the right foot. Elevate the right foot, and we're gonna do our ABCs. Okay, so just trace the letters of the alphabet. Let's switch. All right. And then our last one here is just our feet are flat and pull your toes towards your heels. Okay, so this is working on your arches. Pull your toes towards your heels so your feet are flat, and just try to grip the floor and pull your toes towards your heels. Alright, let's try to do the same, but now we're gonna keep our feet flat, and without curling your toes, try to bring your forefoot to your heels, okay? So hopefully you could visualize that. So I'll try to mimic that. So instead of doing this motion with your feet here, what I want you to do is almost do this, okay? So let's aim to do that. So that's gonna just connect a little bit more with your foot. So it's not gonna move much, but as long as you feel your arches working, that's what we want, okay? It only moves like maybe a 1/4 inch, not very much, maybe a centimeter, but it's not much, okay? All right, so we could put our chair away, or if you want to use it for balance, you could just keep it to your side. All right, we're gonna get back on our feet. So we did right foot in front of our left. Now we're gonna go left foot in front of our right. Left foot in front of our right. We're here. All right, let's look left to right. Up and down. All right, we're gonna close our eyes. Your eyes closed. Okay, open your eyes. Alrighty. Cool. Alright, so we have a couple stretches left from standing. So if you have your chair nearby, I would love for you to do this one, but I do also need you to hold down to a counter. So you see I have a stationary bike here, and I want to do some hip mobility, okay? So you could either use the top side or the bottom side, depending how flexible you are. So what I'm gonna ask you to do is just to go over and back. If this is too high, then try to use the base of the chair, okay? So you would just go here and here. And it's not for balance, so I do need you to hold on to something, because doing this standing up like this isn't gonna do much because your form's gonna change. I wanna try to keep your leg straight if possible, okay? So let's do 5 over and 5 back with the left leg. So we're here. That's 1. Try to hold on to something. 2. If it's a wall, if it's a counter. 3. And if you don't have a second item, you could always just grab onto your chair and just kind of do it as high as you can. Okay? Alright, once we've done 5 on each side, let's switch. So now I'm going to do my right side. Alright, very good. Alright, I'm gonna put the chair away because we're gonna close out with our shoulders now. So if you have a broomstick, a foam roller, a nice big rod or stick, we'll need that right now. So I have my foam roller. Okay, almost done. It's a little shorter today. So, alright, so if you have your stick here, we're gonna go ahead and push with the right hand and guide with the left. So let's just start by warming up left to right here. So yeah, a rope or a band may not work as much, but if you keep your arms extended, it'll be okay. But I usually, if I don't have my foam roller, I use a broomstick or a mop. Alright, we're gonna focus on that left shoulder. So let's go up on that left shoulder. Go a little bit higher. Right, 30 degrees forward. $60 degrees forward. $90 right in front of you. And then towards the back. Alright, now let's come back to our regular position. We're going to focus on our right shoulder now. So your left shoulder pushes, right hand guides. Go ahead. Try to bring that up. Alright, 30 degrees forward. Alright, 60. $90 right in front of you. Now towards the back. Alright, let's go behind the back now, so bring it behind you. We're gonna go up and down. Now we're gonna lift. Alright, we could put this off to the side, just a couple more stretches, and we are good, okay? So, alright, 3 stretches here. So wide stance, we're just gonna turn left to right gently. We're gonna go ab circles. So you're hinging, same stance, hinging at the hips, keep your back straight, come here and then cut across, and then reset and pump. Come over this way and reverse. Pump, so you should feel that throughout your back, maybe around your abs, your hips. One more. Alright, let's go big hula hoops. So it's just big giant hip circles. And switch. Alrighty, very good. That should do it for today. Really do appreciate everyone coming in